Hello, let me welcome you for the video lecture series on management and economics. The topic which we are discussing in this particular video is costing. The costing is defined as, or the introduction for the costing can be called as a specialized branch of accounting which deals with the classification, recording, allocation and control of cost. It is a technique and process of ascertaining a cost for the manufacturing of any particular component, where the techniques and the process will be understood clearly here. In common terms, costing can be defined as a process of determining the actual cost of an item after adding different expenses incurred to sell in the market. With the help of estimating and costing, a manufacturer finds out the total cost of each article and fixes the selling price of the article in order to make a definite profit. The cost data provides the basis for improvement decisions on pricing, product mix, product design, process improvement and the technology acquisition. Poor decision in this area can severely impact the ability of the company to compete in the market. Hence, the costing and estimation is very important for all the manufacturer who sell the product in the market. Let us know the estimating. To do estimation, it is necessary to have a sound knowledge of total cost in manufacturing before it has been manufactured. One must have a sound knowledge of material, labor, processing cost, quality and quantity of material required, selection of manufacturing method, manufacturing time required, etc. in order to do a proper estimation. An engineer can be able to state the probable cost after the plan and drawing is being done. The amount estimated should be sufficient to cover the probable expenditure which incur in manufacturing a product. If the availability of funds are known, the designer can do the reverse calculation, that is backward calculation. He can able to do it so that he can able to design the product or the building depending on the available cost or available sum. Need for estimating and costing, that means we'll be discussing about what are all the factors which is required here. So the first one is to determining the cost of production. That is, what is the product for which you are going to estimate the costing is one which is very important. For this, the required expenditure on the materials, wages and other things which help in determining the cost of production precisely. After controlling the cost, that is, for how to control the cost, it provides the cost for each product, process, job, department, etc., which helps in identifying the profitable and non-profitable areas in the organization and guides the management to take corrective measures for their non-profitable activities. This helps reducing the manufacturing cost. It helps to reduce the material wastage and control labor wages, because these two things are very important in industries, that is material wastage and control of labor wages. If these two things you can able to control in the organization, definitely the organization can able to see the profit. For fixing the selling price, Costing provides information for fixing the selling price of the product, the cost and volume of production, profit and break-even analysis serves a basis for determining the selling price of a particular product, because cost depends on the selling price of a product or the volume of production or the profit that is needed, or when you are going to achieve the break-even analysis for a particular product. All these things plays an important role in fixing the selling price of a particular product. For preparing the quotations and submitting the tenders, that is, whenever you have to prepare the quotations, you should know the product or the services which you are going to offer. A tender is a information required, the selling price given to a prospective buyer, but given in a sealed envelope. For specific managerial decisions, the managerial decisions like make or buy, whether to replace the existing machineries before it is full utilization of the time or the full lifetime, the manager has to take a decision. The costing provides the information on wages, incentive plans, cost control measures for materials and suppliers, budget and budgetary control, etc. It helps in formulating the policies of the concern for changing the price of the product. It helps in making the product more economical by incorporating the suitable changes in the design. All these things is possible by knowing the proper estimation and costing. Like, let us see the procedure for estimating. The production planning department will decide the specification of the product to be manufactured, make out the drawings, lays down the method of manufacturing, that means the procedure of manufacturing, and the required operations and machineries to be used to convert the raw material into a finished product. That means first is determine the material cost. Next is determine the time required for various operations. And the third one is determine the labor cost. Then you will be calculating the prime cost. To determine the prime cost, it is a direct expenses plus direct material cost plus direct labor cost. These three costs, that is expenses, material and labor, all the three are direct. These three direct expenses clubbed together will form a prime cost. That is a very important cost that has to be considered in doing the estimation. After that, we will be doing the determine the factory overheads, depreciation, maintenance and insurance cost, the power cost, etc. and also the administrative overheads, and determine the packaging and delivery cost to find the total cost of the product. To determine the selling price of a product, which is the total cost plus profit, will give you the selling price of a particular product. After you find the selling price, you can able to give the discount for the distributors and decide the delivery time of a product. Next, let us see the components or elements of cost. Let us see the different elements that is involved in that. The total cost of a product is the sum of several elements or elementary cost that are involved in its manufacture. The major components in manufacturing a product consist of material cost, that means direct material cost and indirect material cost, labor cost, direct labor cost, indirect labor cost, expenses, direct expenses and indirect expenses, or it is also called as overheads or on cost. If you see the components or the elements of costing, if you take out the line diagram, the cost which is on the top will have a three subdivisions or the three cost which is involved, that is the material cost, the labor cost, and the expenses cost. Under the material cost there is a direct material cost, indirect material cost. Under the labor cost there is a direct labor cost and indirect labor cost. Under the expenses it is a direct expenses and the indirect expenses will come into the picture. Selling price of a particular product. So if at all you have to sell, the price or the product price will be calculated based on the different steps. The first step under that is to have a direct material cost, is to know the direct labor cost and the direct expenses. If you club these three costs or the expenses, it will be called as a prime cost or the direct cost. If you add the factory cost or the works on cost to the prime cost, then it is called as factory cost or the works cost. If you if you add the office and the administrative expenses to the factory cost, it is called as the office cost or manufacturing cost or the production cost or the gross cost of a product. If you add the selling and the distribution expenses to the office cost or the manufacturing cost or the production cost or gross cost, if you add up the selling and the distribution expenses, you will get the total cost or the selling cost. For a selling cost, if you add the profit, you will get the price of the particular product. Fine. So these are all the steps in which you will be finding the cost of the product. Allocations of overheads, because overheads plays an important role in the pricing the component. Once the total overheads are determined, the next step is to allocate this cost over the production. The variation of overheads with the production volume should be essentially known as the economical aspect of running the firm or the organization. Different methods of allocating the overheads are as follows. The first one is a percentage on the prime cost. That means whatever the prime cost which you have, for that we will fix some percentage. Okay. The total overhead or on cost is expressed as a percentage of prime cost. This percentage is charged on each job being manufactured. This method is more suitable when both direct material and the indirect material cost, direct material and the direct labor cost are almost same, and where only one type of product is being manufactured, and that will be calculated as the total overheads divided by the prime cost into 100 will give you the percentage on cost. This method does not consider the fact that the material cost has nothing to do with the overheads, and the products which require more manufacturing time should have more overhead expenses. The second one that you have in this is the percentage on the direct material cost. Here the direct material cost is considered, and that will be overhead cost, or the total overheads will be divided by the total direct material cost in percentage. You will get the on cost. The allocation of overheads is based on the total direct material cost. This method is suitable when the material cost has major share, like foundry industries, like mine industries, like the water resource industries, all these where the materials or the raw material plays an important role. Then we calculate percentage on the direct material cost. Next one is percentage on the direct labor cost. Here labor's cost is very important, or the manual labor where we are using in the industries. Those industries will calculate this percentage. The percentage on cost is equal to total overheads divided by the total direct labor cost in percentage. Next one is man hour or labor hour rate. On cost is expressed in terms of total direct man hour or labor hour spent to finish the job. That means converting from a raw material to a finished product. What is the labor hour which is being spent? That will be calculated. Man hour rate is equal to total overheads divided by the total direct man hours or labor hours spent on the machinery will be considered here. The next method that you have is machine hour rate. Here the machine, how long it has run will be considered. On cost is expressed based on the total productive machine hours. How many hours the machine has run. The total overheads are distributed over a group of similar machines explained below, like building rents, taxes, insurance, lighting charges, indirect material, and the labor cost, and the distributed based on the floor area occupied by the machineries, power consumed, and the depreciation charges for a measured separately for each and every equipment. The expenses on the wages or the machineries idle time period separately will be considered the profit and the loss account and not considered in the overheads in this particular method. Machine hour rate is equal to total overheads divided by the total productive machine hours. How much of machine hour will be productive? Here we are not going to consider the machine idle time and the wages paid when the machine is not working. That will not be considered here. Only active machine hour rate will be considered here. Next is the combination of man hour and the machine hour. Here the industries, both man and machine, should be coordinated to complete a job. Whenever a machine is used, the man hour rate is applied. Whenever the work is done by hand, then the man hour rate is applicable. So if the machine is used, machine hour rate is applicable. If the man is used to complete the job, then man hour rate is being used. The final and the last type of rate which is going to overheads which you are going to consider is unit rate method or the production unit basis method. The cost allocation is done based on the number of units produced. That means the volume that you are going to produce. This method is applied where only one type of product is carried out. Overheads per unit is equal to total overheads divided by the quantity of production. Next is methods of costing. The methods of costings that are commonly used to assist the determination of selling price of a product are listed below. The method differs according to the nature of business and type of products which is being manufactured. The job costing or the order costing. Here the job is being costed or the order is being costed, whether it is with respect to the job or with respect to the bulk order. It is considered with finding the cost of each individual job and then fixing the selling price based on it. Each job has to be planned and its cost is determined separately. The method is adopted in job order industries. Special purpose machine units like shipbuilding, fabrication, and structural constructions like dam construction, like the road construction, all these things will be considered for a job costing or order costing. The next one is process costing. This method is employed when a standard product is made with which involves the sequence of process. That means a standard product is being manufactured with a set of sequence or the process that you have to do it. It includes the cost of product at different stages as it passes through the various process or departments. It is used in industries like chemical industry, paper mills, oil refineries, paint and cement manufacturing industries. By products and their cost of disposal also taken into account while calculating the cost of each manufacturing process and the subsequent selling price of a product. Next is the operating cost. The operating cost is nothing but the service which you have given, or number of hours of operation, or number of kilometers that you have run, like the transport department or the water and the electricity boards which they use it, railway or the airways or the bus services which they provide you. The cost is determined on the basis of operating expenses, and the charges are made in terms of per kilometer or per liter or per kilowatt hour. Like this, the cost will be calculated. Next is the departmental costing. This method is used in the industries like the steel and the automobile industries, where each department produces independently one or more components. This expenditures of each department, that is the actual expenditures of each department on various products, is entered on a separate cost sheet, and the costing of each department is separately undertaken. That means they will calculate it based on the product line or the type of product which is being manufactured in the each and every department. Unit cost. This method is adopted by single product manufacturers who make the products like bricks, cement, milk, etc. in a variety of than a variety of products. They will not have much variety of products. Maybe one or two types of varieties they may be having. Costing is done on per unit basis. Thank you. With this, we have completed the costing under management and economics.